So, please choose a screen and subtitle language. Ich nehme mal an, dass die Sprachausgabe weiterhin Englisch geblieben ist, deswegen können wir es ruhig mit deutschen Untertiteln spielen. Was? Für Bildschirmtexte und Untertitel. Ja, man kann es ja noch ändern. Hast du das? Oh, jetzt wird's ja gemein. Oh, es geht gleich richtig los. Haben wir das Stanley Parable schon mal gespielt? Ich habe das Stanley Parable gespielt. Bin ich ehrlich oder lüge ich? Es fängt schon an mit der Moralität direkt am Anfang. Es ist unglaublich. Ich bin mal ehrlich und sage ja. So, dann wird erstmal grammatifiziert. Ich mache mal ein bisschen heller, damit die Videokompression es nicht so schwer hat. Okay. Die die kannst du aus der Echtzeituhr auslesen, liebes System. Was wird das hier? Ich fühle mich jetzt schon veräppelt. 19:12 ist, oder? Ich spiele erstmal nach den Regeln. Ich glaube, das hat er das letzte Mal auch schon gemacht mit dem Spiel Bild im Bild im Bild im Bild im Bild im Bild im Bild. So, Einstellungen. Ich habe jetzt mal keinen Controller eingeschlossen. Ich werde es mit Maus und Tastatur spielen, so richtig oldschool PC-Shooter-mäßig. Ich hoffe mal, das funktioniert gut. Ich hoffe mal, ich kann das noch mit WASD und sowas. Einhändige Fortbewegung, ist das die Art für ein Spiel? Untertitelgröße, Untertiteltransparenz. Okay. Das sieht schon mal alles sehr gut aus. Das würde ich sagen, lassen wir auch so. 1440p, 60 Hertz, Anti-Aliasing ist an. Ich weiß gar nicht, auf welcher Engine das läuft, weil das ursprüngliche, das Stanley Parable, war halt ein Mod, glaube ich, für Half-Life. Ich glaube, das ist auf der Source Engine erschienen. Wir spielen erstmal.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Na dann, haben wir nichts zu spielen.
Something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Erstmal gucken wir uns um. So, dann schauen wir mal. Hier ist unser Raum 427. Natürlich die typische I Hate Mondays Taste. Gibt es irgendwie einen Zoom oder rechte Maustaste? Papiere. Ein abgewetzter Schreibtisch, der Monitor und der lustige Stuhl. Gucken wir mal, was es hier gibt. Es ist nett, dass das Interaktionsding auch Tastengeräusche sind. Wenn man genau hinhört. Ne? Ich weiß nicht, ob ihr die Errungenschaften seht. Aber tatsächlich haben wir schon 2 gekriegt, nämlich du kannst nicht springen und erhalte erste Errungenschaft. Okay, dann gucken wir mal. What's up in here? Ach, die seht ihr gar nicht. Das ist ja schade. Kann ich das irgendwie hinkriegen? Ich weiß nicht, ob das Spiel... Ob das klappt, wenn ich den Desktop capture. Ich probiere das mal ganz kurz. Das Spiel scheint dafür schnell genug zu sein. Aber ich sage jetzt nur Display Capture. Wir gucken mal. Wir gucken mal, was passiert, falls wir überhaupt noch jemals ein Achievement freischalten, ob das so klappt. Nichts los, nichts los, nichts los. Aber crouchen kann ich. Ich kann nicht springen, aber ich kann crouchen. Sonst kannst du wahrscheinlich eine Ebene für das Steam Overlay anbinden. Ja, wahrscheinlich ging das auch. Ich habe es jetzt einfach erstmal so auf Desktop Capture gemacht, dass er den ganzen Desktop captured. Das scheint performant genug zu sein.
His co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Und sie haben alle diese schönen I Hate Mondays Dinger.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Hallo, ich bin noch am Gucken, immer mit der Ruhe. Vielleicht habe ich ja Bock, mich hier unterm Tisch zu verstecken oder so. Dann guckst du mal. Geht das hier? Nicht wirklich.
Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No, 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 no. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition.
Echt?
I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks.
Okay. Ich kann sehr schnell klicken.
No, I'm still not feeling it. I want this achievement to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost. Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
417? Wo ist denn Door 417? Ich klicke jetzt weiter hier hin. Du kannst mich mal... Da muss doch irgendwas passieren. Ich kann mich grob erinnern, dass es irgendein Achievement gibt, wenn man wirklich eine Tür 400 Mal anklickt. Ich weiß nicht, ob das die war, dass man Tür 430 wirklich 430 Mal anklicken muss. Ich hoffe nicht. Ach, nee, da bricht mir der Zeigefinger ab. So, Jahr 417. Irgendwas poppt. Das war von dem Bekannten auf meiner Steam-Liste. Ich glaube, der Play-Stare hatte irgendwas angefangen. So, 417, 425, 426. Ich mag halt, wie Half-Life-ig das immer noch aussieht. Also wenn ich halt in den Gang hier hinten reinguckt, das ist echt so ein typischer Portal- oder Half-Life-Gang. So, wir sind jetzt in 422. Bin ich auch nicht in 417 vorbeigelaufen? Nee. Ist doch sicherlich wieder irgend so eine Scheiße, dass 417 einfach fehlt. Ha! Da ist 417. Oh, da ist eine Leiter drin. Wie oft sollte ich das klicken?
Oh, great. Now, go click a few times on door 437.
Wo ist denn 437? 436? Gibt's die überhaupt? Da ist er.
Excellent. I think we're getting somewhere. Now, door 415. Let's give it 10 clicks or so.
Oh, der verarscht mich doch nur. Ich meine, ich weiß, dass er mich verarscht, aber halt. Was ist denn hier passiert? I hate Mondays. Okay. 415, 416.
Now, back to door number 437.
War die überhaupt hier? Wo war die denn? Jetzt sollte ich das doch einfach ignorieren, da kommt eh nichts Gutes bei raus. 4, 2, 6, 4.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Wir sind mal so nett und folgen dem ersten Mal den Erzähler.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Erstmal gucken wir uns hier um. So, Meeting Room, Schedule. Weekly Targets, Marketing Mondays. Termination Tuesdays? Was sind denn für Wednesdays? Mergers, what to do about 432. Don't tell 432 about the meeting. Do not alter. Do not alter without consulting whiteboard manager. RIP France. Wer ist Franz? Tomorrow. Complete today's vanished agenda items. Die Agenda-Items der nächsten Tage aufschreiben und reflektieren. Okay. Standard Clips 40 Mal. Nicht effizient. Okay. Die Zukunft war gestern, morgen ist jetzt. Aha. Was gibt denn hier? Get Chris out of the broom closet? Was? Hire someone to synergize paper. Papers are too synergized. Fire paper guy. Who moved my desk? Please keep the targets. Okay. Was haben wir denn hier? Ich würde so gerne auf den Tisch bringen können. Verdammt. So synergizing. Oh, hier wird gesynergized. So, using slides to show employees that is okay. Aha. Man braucht eine blaue Grafik und der Text muss abgerundet sein. Ah. Jeder ist einzigartig. Du zuvor der Erste. Okay. Okay. Wir brauchen mehr durchgestrichen, weniger Reviews. Mehr Wasserkühler, mehr Aufheizeinlagen für Wasserkühler. Nice. Das sind auf jeden Fall Synergie ist hier ganz wichtig. Sollten wir nicht irgendjemand aus dem Broom Closet holen?
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Bist du sicher, dass hier nichts ist? Wir haben radioaktives Klebeband, oder? Ist das radioaktives Klebeband?
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Lieber Narrator, ich gucke mich nur ein bisschen um. Jetzt machen wir nicht so, wir haben noch den ganzen Stream Zeit, dir zu folgen.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way.
Ich hab Sachen geklickt.
There doing sweet FA.
Was für ein Arsch.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Nächstes Mal. Oh, nice. The executive bathroom. I've got the feeling money is for stealing, but not yours, of course. That's... Was? Irgendwas, that's a lovely purse? Okay. Klar ist Geld zum Stehlen, da besonders das der Kunden. Also Extreme Bathrooms und natürlich das Time Magazine. Extreme Bathrooms, sehr gut. Das ist ja schön. Was ist das für ein Schild? Kennt man das? Ich überlege gerade, ob es eine Zoom-Taste gab. Steuerung, vorwärts, rechts, ducken. Nee. Habt ihr das gesehen? Mega frech, mega frech. Was steht hier? Springen, ne? Space ist springen und was geht? Nichts geht springen. The Nerve. Okay. Nice. Hier ist nicht.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Okay. Ich gucke mir noch die Bilder an, lieber Narrator. Carte Blanche auf Mont Blanc. I'm the most expensive boss. Und Sewage Lilies bei Cloud Money.
He just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Das stimmt allerdings. Gut, dass du das nochmal sagst, weil ich bin ja hier jetzt total aufgeschmissen.
2845.
La 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 la, ich weiß nichts. Mal gucken, ob wir die Kombination hier irgendwo finden. Vielleicht hat er sie in seiner Tasche? Oder sie ist in den Gemälden versteckt?
Forgot. But it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself, and Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Ich fühle mich veräppelt. Hallo? So, ich kann zwar nichts mehr lesen, aber 2, 8, 4, 5. Haha. Sagt natürlich eine Menge zur, wie viel Einfluss ich wirklich habe, wenn ihr einfach so die Backdoors aufgehen. Ich weiß nicht, wie es bei euch ist. Es könnte noch ein bisschen heller sein. Ich stelle mal die Helligkeit noch ein bisschen hoch. Darstellung, Barrierefreiheit. Geht das gar nicht mehr? Hä? Wiesen, Qualitätsprofil, Steuerung. Die Gamma kann man gar nicht nachträglich nochmal einstellen, oder? Ja, es ist ja okay. Hat man mehr was von der Dynamik. Oder ich muss hier mal das Licht ausmachen. Ja, ist das wieder eins dieser Spiele, die dich Motion Sick machen?
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Ich guck mal, ob es besser ist, wenn ich es mit Controller spiele. Ich weiß nicht, ob ich halt on the fly wechseln kann. Ich stöpsel mal kurz den Controller ein. Mach auch mal Licht aus, damit ich ein bisschen mehr sehe. Vielleicht ist das tatsächlich mit Controller ein bisschen besser. Mal. So. Wie duckt man sich denn im Controller? So. Okay, versuchen wir es mal so, weil die Maus erzeugt ja zittrigere Bewegungen als ein Controller-Input. Vielleicht ist es so besser zu schauen. So, was haben wir denn hier?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Junge, das ist total schön, aber ich gucke gerade, was dieses Schild sagt. Falls Licht an ist, dann ruf Extension 914 an. Aber wo?
Whoops. Nope. Never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly.
Da guckst du.
Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out.
Ich will natürlich die Extension 914 wählen.
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have. An incisive rapid fire of critical plot
Alter, ist gut.
after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow. I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
Ich will nur ein Telefon finden, um diese Extension anzuwählen. Liebe Freunde. Dann gehen wir wieder zurück, wenn das nicht geht. Ey, echt jetzt.
Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this?
Wenn du erst mal wartest, hätte ich noch geguckt, ob ich auf dieses Plateau, was man da sieht, kommen kann, ne? Lieber Narrator.
Surely this time Stanley will walk forward into the spooky corridor, won't he?
Nein, er will wissen, wie...
Walk straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Nein, er will erst wissen, was passiert, wenn er die 914 wählt. Wir merken uns die 914. Was haben wir denn hier?
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What
Nice.
horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Kann ich irgendwo 914 ein? Oh. Employee Observation Protocol. Was steht denn da für eines? Please note that Employee 432 is a test case, while need for Protocol 2a. Welcher waren wir 432? Wir merken uns mal, was wir gedrückt haben. Licht. Licht, Kamera.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Und was passiert, wenn man gefeuert wird? Oh mein Gott. Licht, Kamera, Typ.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Natürlich niemals.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Und wie? Gucken erstmal. Kann man denn hier was machen? Fünf. Wieso ist da eine 5? Was ist mit 1, 2, 3, 4? Nothing does happen. 5, da ist die 3. Okay. 5, 3. 1, 2. Wir sind was auf der Spur. 1, 2. Fünf. Wo ist denn die 4? Die 4 ist da oben, ne? Komme ich da hin? Ah ja, das ist eine Leiter. Da ist eine Leiter. Ganz schön duster hier. Mein lieber Scholli. Oh, hier ist zu. Okay, wahrscheinlich werde ich in irgendeiner Form nachher diese Tasten drücken müssen. 1, 2. 1, 2. Drei. Die 4 wird dann ja wahrscheinlich da oben sein. Okay. Außer die 4 ist hier irgendwo. Da haben wir Mysterious Code.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Okay. Oh. Mild shock.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved.
Ja, eine Menge.
His co-workers gone. How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness.
Oder ein bisschen mehr Licht.
His goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Chip, 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 chip. Da haben wir ein Häuschen. Sieht ein bisschen italienisch aus. Und da hinten ein Damm? Ne, eine Zugbrücke ist das, oder? Und dann ein Aquädukt.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation. the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen.
Ah.
And Stanley was happy.
Tja, das war's. War ein kurzes Spiel. Natürlich war es das nicht. Nein, wir sind wieder am Anfang zurück. So, ich schaue mal ganz kurz, ob wir die Helligkeit nochmal neu einstellen können. Es ist immer noch ein bisschen zu dunkel. Einhändige Fortbewegung, Untertitelgröße. Mich wundert echt, dass man das nicht nachher nochmal eintragen kann. Ich meine, es reicht ja auf jeden Fall aus. Nur in den dunklen Passagen ist es etwas düster.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Nein, das machen wir natürlich nicht. Könnte ich mal mit den ganzen Sachen hier. Wir gucken mal, ob wir irgendwie das Spiel ärgern können. Ich glaube, hier kommt man tatsächlich nicht hin. Man kann es tatsächlich auch mit dem Gamepad recht gut spielen. Hm, 4B3.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Das machen wir natürlich diesmal nicht. Das ist jetzt was geändert? Und wie kommt mir das so vor, als wäre ich hier schon mal gewesen?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief,
Ach, er hat ja left gesagt.
up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Moment, war es vorhin auch left oder war es... Jetzt bin ich verwirrt. Haben wir jetzt das gemacht, was das Spiel wollte oder nicht? Ich glaube, wir haben jetzt aus Versehen das gemacht, was das Spiel wollte. So, aber jetzt können wir was machen.
Staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ja, jetzt gucken wir mal nach unten, was hier unten ist. Können ja schließlich auch über die Parkgarage raus, oder? Das sieht ein bisschen evil aus hier. Ein Zettel. Hi, Lonnie? Leonie? Fuck, wenn ich ein bisschen zoomen könnte, könnte ich es tatsächlich lesen.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished?
Ja.
His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all?
Ja.
None of it made any logical sense.
Doch.
And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
Was?
For that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. and at last he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. "I'm dreaming!" he yelled. "This is all a dream." Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
Oh my God!
Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream.
Nein?
Could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley.
Hello, Phil.
After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. The voice
Was?
not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream.
Echt? Wie?
He closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want.
Nein, das
I
ist
want my
nicht.
apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been.
Schnüff.
My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Ich bin immer noch hier.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Was? Nein.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like.
Ja.
At that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life.
Das sind die wichtigen Sachen.
For this. So it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Tschüss, Marielle. Okay, also da müssen wir ein bisschen aufpassen. Ich finde das witzig, dass das halt auch schon so zumindest in meiner Erinnerung noch deutlich vor PT war, dass er auch immer diese sich wiederholenden Korridore hatte. Ich denke mal, für die Psychoszenen hat sich da PT ein bisschen was abgeschaut.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Nein, ich drücke jetzt auf die
Stanley went around touching
Tür 437.
but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Doch jetzt seid doch mal nicht so ungeduldig. Wäre das nochmal so, wenn man da wieder... Ja, ich glaube, dann würdest du dasselbe Ende nochmal auslösen. Du musst schon irgendwas anderes machen, damit was anderes passiert. Wir müssen halt nur ein bisschen aufpassen, dass wir nicht wieder das machen, was der Narrator von uns will. Weil ich glaube, das mit der, durch welche Tür man gehen soll, ist random. Willst du mich veräppeln? New Content? Ich denke mal, die Tür gäbe es nicht, wenn wir nicht gesagt hätten, dass wir das Stanley Parable schon gespielt haben. Ich werde noch nicht durch diese Tür gehen. Ich werde zu einem späteren Zeitpunkt durch diese Tür gehen.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Nein.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Genau das wollte er nämlich tun. Ich mag, wie das wirklich auf random auf Buttons, wie das wirklich nach random auf Buttons tippen klingt. Aber es ist ja theoretisch das, was man macht. Sieht ein bisschen desolat aus. Kommen wir hier irgendwie drum rum?
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Ist das Blut?
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Ich habe immer das Bedürfnis, dem Erzähler die Zunge rauszustrecken.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
Boah, das war gemein. Trocken halten. Das sieht doch...
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
Ich gehe ja schon.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Nein. Aber danke für den Tipp. Das ist doch eine Verarsche. Der möchte, dass ich da durchgehe. Oder sogar, dass ich nicht da durchgehe. Oder? Oh, hier ist was Neues. Wo sind wir denn hier?
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Das sieht doch schick aus. Was können wir hier machen? Brauchen wir eine Keycard? Haben wir überhaupt die Möglichkeit, eine Keycard zu benutzen?
Do not jump from the cargo lift, it will cause death. Also ich muss $5.000 bezahlen, wenn ich in meinen Tod springe.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about... But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Mwap, mwap, mwap. Ich hatte einen Plan.
Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a...
Nein, kein New Content.
I no longer recall. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
He didn't.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else, but in his eagerness to prove that he is in...
Das war unabsichtlich. Ich bin nur abgerutscht.
Stanley thought to himself, am I sure that the orders stopped coming in?
Echt?
How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken. No, the orders were still missing. For now.
Echt? Mann. Da ist, man kann tatsächlich, man kann auf diese Reling springen. Vielleicht sollte ich das erstmal normal machen. Ich sollte es einfach erstmal normal machen.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
He didn't.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Okay, wir bleiben jetzt erstmal hier
I
drauf.
think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone neglecting Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Da war ein Love Interest in dieser Story. Ich mag, wie das einfach mit USB-Platten zugeleimt ist da hinten. Hast du das Spiel mal gespielt, Phil? Also den Vorgänger vielleicht oder diese Variante? Eine unbekannte Tür. Da kennst du, also den Standard-Content kennst du dann ja schon. Ich liebe the Stanley Parable.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Gerade schon sagen, geht das überhaupt?
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about
Your damn.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife?
Das ist Portal-Humor.
Up to you. I'm trying to make a point here, Stan. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Das ist halt wirklich der Punkt, wo ich halt beschlossen habe, ich werde von dieser Reling runterspringen, aber erstmal gucken wir uns hier ein bisschen um.
Sorry, but you're in my story now. This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Was?
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him.
Nani?
The button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Nein, ich drücke jetzt nicht Y. Kannst du nicht mal. Ja, kann ich nichts anderes machen.
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown.
Die werden wir auch noch haben.
Fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls.
Ja.
Down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions.
Was?
And down another was a game with a baby.
So?
Called it the Stanley Parable.
Ein Game mit einem Baby?
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets.
Das ist ein sehr deprimierender Zweig der Geschichte.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it. You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley.
So.
Different, I suppose.
Nee, dann nicht.
I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. and I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried...
Ja, ich habe nichts gedrückt. Ach so. Na gut, so, aber jetzt.
Co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Nein, New Content später.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Wir können auch auf der anderen Seite noch einen anderen
By
Pfad
the
gehen.
employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first time understood true
Was?
happiness. Then the
Weil es hier Kaffee gibt?
away, and he felt sad again.
Oh,
Back and lingered for a minute or two. Now it's only half there. Just a kind of, tingle.
okay.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
So, jetzt probieren wir nochmal, was ich vorhin probieren wollte.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
So, ich glaube, hier rüber kommen wir nicht, aber hier kommen wir rüber.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look,
Wir waren auf dem Pfad schon.
let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Wie? Okay, da ist nichts los. Was haben wir denn hier? Jede Menge Container. Nee, hier ist auch nichts. No buckets past this point. Kann ich ein Bucket mitnehmen?
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Echt? Na gut, wir lassen uns mal drauf ein.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I want it to stop. We would both be so much happier.
Oh, ich bin in einem Loop.
Just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Das ist immer dieselbe Tür. Na gut. Ich kann nicht aufhören zu laufen.
What are we looking for?
Ist das UFO-Ende?
Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
Das ist wirklich nett. Da ist eine Tür. Es ist wirklich nett. Die Tür. Oh, das ist wirklich so schön. Da ist eine Tür. Aber es ist natürlich nicht mehr ganz so cool, wie das früher war. Aber es ist schon schön. Es ist eine schöne Grafiksache. Da ist eine Tür. Sorry, Leute.
No, wait. Where are you going? Right.
Ah. Hm. Nein, wir können nicht stehen bleiben. Sorry.
Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
Okay, dann mache ich das eben nicht. Da ist eine Tür. Ich will das so genau.
Good, good.
Ah.
We can't be too safe. Promise me you won't go back there. Just stay here.
Na gut, ich bleibe hier. Für immer. Nein. Ach, schön. Nein. Ach, schön. Nein. Sorry.
No. What do we talk about? You're risking everything we achieved here. You heard me before, didn't you? You will die. What about this isn't getting through to you? Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
Ah, gut. Du hast ja recht, Phil. Du hast ja recht. Der Erzähler hat auch ein bisschen... Nein, eigentlich hat er keinen Slack verdient. Nach dem, was er uns vorhin angetan hat. Der hat uns einfach so eingesperrt in diesen Albtraum. Ich finde, dafür hat er eine leichte Strafe verdient.
You are going to stay here, aren't you?
Ich werde natürlich nicht hier bleiben. Was ist denn das für eine Frage? Obwohl es schon recht schön ist. Ich erinnere mich gerade dran, gab es nicht auch ein Minecraft-Ende? Ich weiß nicht mehr, wie man da hinkommt. Muss man vom UFO runterspringen? An der Plattform? Sorry, mein Freund. Es muss sein.
Oh, thank God you lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other room?
Ja, können wir. Was passiert, wenn man einfach da bleibt? Ist die Frage, wie lange man da bleibt, ne?
There. See? This is what you want. This is where we can both be happy. We really can. If we stop moving, we just have to stop moving.
Ich stoppe ja das Moven. Ich stoppe das Moven. Trink mir ein. Wenn ich da runterspringe, kann ich nicht. Nee, hier ist eine Levelbegrenzung. Also ich kann tatsächlich nur hier bleiben. Das werde ich nicht tun.
Stanley, go back. There's nothing good that can come from this.
Ich mag, wie das so hier so schön nach Rohputz aussieht.
No. No, no, what are you doing? Do you just not believe me? What can I say to convince you?
Es muss halt einfach was passieren, mein Freund. Tschüss.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me? My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
Tut mir schon ein bisschen leid.
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours.
Jetzt mal ganz ehrlich, nach dem, was du das letzte Mal durchgezogen hast, ne? Lieber Narrator. This one is on you, mal ganz ehrlich.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Ja, ich glaube, er sagt tatsächlich jedes Mal was. Ich versuche jetzt
His co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
die einzelnen Optionen nicht auszureizen. Einfach, falls jemand noch das Spiel spielen will, dass er auch noch was davon hat.
Of his co-workers.
Ja, noch ein bisschen Content. Vielen Dank.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
That he did.
He felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, giddy in a way he had never known before. Was it but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Nee, die eine Option schöpfen wir noch aus. Dann haben wir das, glaube ich, auch wirklich hier erledigt.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Weil ich gerade, ob es sich irgendeine Möglichkeit gab, noch hier runterzukommen.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look,
Alter, du hast es einfach versaut beim ersten Mal. Ich bin auf der Plattform geblieben. Ich hab dir vertraut.
now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Puh.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
The red door.
All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map, because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill tree?
Ja.
Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design.
Was ganz lustig ist, ist, dass hier, also dieses
There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Das Lustige ist halt diese orangenen Texturen, also diese Developer-Texturen. Also das ist tatsächlich was sie damals bei Half-Life 2 gemacht haben, als sie Half-Life 2 entwickelt haben. Weil ich glaube, irgendwie die Prämisse war, das Spiel muss schon interessant aussehen, ohne dass es texturiert ohne dass es texturiert wurde. Und deswegen gibt es diese Developer-Texturen. Hallo.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. A 1? I mean, I can understand if you had reservations, you saw ways the game could be improved to more fully express itself mechanically and artistically, but a 1? That's not even helpful. What am I supposed to do with that? But I guess it isn't my place to judge. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Good old Neil ist offline, Skit ist offline, Nature ist offline. Okay. Mussolini ist offline, das ist you. Oh. How does it take you to get to the correct door? Oh, ja, ist sehr gut.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
Entschuldigung.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly
Diese Konstruktion.
life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience. You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here?
Ach, jetzt kommt Minecraft, oder?
Yes. This seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Nee. Oh!
Aha! Fascinating.
Firewatch.
This game is about, Stanley. What's our backstory? What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
Ich muss jetzt erstmal gucken, ob sie irgendwas geändert haben. Ich glaube tatsächlich, das war im Original Minecraft, was gebootet wurde. Sehr, sehr schick. Stimmt, es kann sein, dass es noch die Minecraft-Tür war, ja? Was steht denn hier? Who Firewatch is a Firewatch. Ach, süß. Ah. Kann ich mich hier irgendwo runterstürzen? Aber ich meine, es ist klar, dass sie nicht einfach nochmal Minecraft einbauen konnten, wenn das jetzt Microsoft gehört. Das war natürlich früher, als das rausgekommen ist, noch ein bisschen einfacher, da mal einen Notch zu Minecraft einzubauen, als es noch nicht eine Milliarden-Franchise war.
Oh no. No, 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 it can't be.
Ich habe Firewatch auch tatsächlich nicht gespielt. Muss ich zugeben, das ist eins dieser Indie-Darlings, die ich verpasst habe. Jetzt habe ich Lust, mir das mal anzugucken.
It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off.
Was?
Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You nearly wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around, no right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls.
Also da Lücken.
Okay.
Ja?
I think this will be just the thing. Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind.
Ist Rocket League, genau.
Box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed.
Das schaffen wir.
Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game...
Nee, kann da nicht raus.
Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together. Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
Okay. So, mal gucken, ob wir da hinten rauskommen. Nein, schade. Aber wir laufen sehr viel schneller.
Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on? Stanley, I have a thought. And I realize I'm not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw...
Ja, Flipper, oder?
Then surely multiple balls makes for an even more euphoric sports experience.
Oh, oh.
Try it out. Here comes another ball. Yes! Oh goodness, that really does feel amazing, doesn't it? Stanley, I'm like a child in a confectionery shop. I simply have to...
Nein, nicht dran vorbei.
Facial. More balls!
Ich schaff's ja noch nicht mal, den einen ins Tor zu schießen.
Are you enjoying this, Stanley? Are you having fun?
Ja.
Is this a real video game? Well, I sure hope you're having a good time, because guess what? It's over.
Was?
That's right. Your little fun comes to an end. This is my game, and what I say goes. You get to have fun when I let you, Stanley.
Mais non.
Besides, You need someone like me to set boundaries for you. Without rules or boundaries, video games are nothing. Yes, that's what I am. I'm structure. I'm your sense of purpose. And since you decided you didn't want to play my game, now I don't want to play with you either. So, goodbye, Stanley. I'm leaving. See how you like it when I'm not around to set the rules. Somehow, I don't think you'll enjoy it as much. But who knows? Hold on. What are you doing? Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back. We still have...
Okay. Also hat jetzt natürlich so im Rückblick was sehr Porteliges alles. Mit diesen unfertigen Räumen. Aber es passt natürlich auch zur Spielentwicklung. Please rate your experience. Bisschen scary. Sehr, sehr düster. Ist das jetzt die Silent Hill-Variante von The Stanley Parable? Oh, hier sind wir. Hier sind wir. Das müsste ja die Türverzweigung sein, ne? Dann kommen wir jetzt zurück zu unserem Büro. Ja. Nein, da können wir noch nicht hin. Könnten ja vielleicht noch was sehen. Jetzt ein bisschen heller hier wäre. Okay, ich werde jetzt nicht ewig im Dunkeln rumstapfen. Dann gehen wir in das Licht. Wird ja wohl irgendwann unser Büro kommen, oder? Hallo. Muss mal gucken, ob wir wirklich... Nee, was passiert jetzt?
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Ich auch. Oh, das läuft von alleine. Konnte sich doch irgendwo unter den Schreibtisch klemmen, oder?
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself. That's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all.
Hört ihr das? War das immer schon so?
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Warum klingt es, als würde es draußen brennen? das denn hier überhaupt? Irgendwas installiert. Okay. Das ist ja verrückt hier. Waiting Input. Ja, dann geben wir doch Input. Seht das? Input received. Mehr Input? Ja, haben wir irgendwas aktiviert? Will noch irgendjemand Input? Jetzt bin ich ja ein bisschen verwirrt. Oder müssen wir das in 4 Durchläufen machen oder 5? Nee, ich kann da leider keine Zahlen eingeben. Das war's. 8, 4, 2, 5. Nee. Das tut nicht. Nicht tut das. Moment. Nee, wir wollen noch nicht in den neuen Content.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Was wir hier nämlich noch machen können, da gab es noch eine Escape Route. Die Idee wir noch.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Nein, just to ärger you.
The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps too majestic. Like a combination of a much smaller version and a much larger version of this exact room. It all made Stanley uncomfortable, and he started to bleed a little. This made him smile. The last proof that he was human. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Ja, das machen wir jetzt.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
Okay.
Oh, no. No, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Mein lieber Freund, entscheid dich mal. Wenn ich mich hier schon da...
Right, left, down...
Jedes Mal, wenn ich das mache, was er sagt, passiert irgendwas Fieses.
Okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Na gut, dann gucken wir mal, ob das auch stimmt. Wehe, das stimmt nicht. Wahrscheinlich ist es auch nochmal anders, wenn du ihm eine 5 als Bewertung gibst. Stimmt, das können wir eigentlich auch nochmal ausprobieren. Oder ich überlasse das anderen Menschen. Ich will auch den neuen Content nochmal sehen. Wo sind wir hier? Ah, hier sind wir.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Ja, jetzt brennt es nicht mehr draußen.
Mr. Memo.
So, erwähltest du immer noch Input? Und diesmal steht das nicht da, oder? War es ein anderer Rechner? War es einer von diesen? Nein. War der? Nee. Ihr will keinen Input von mir. Verrückt. Nope, ist vielleicht nicht jedes Mal da. Der neue Content, der macht mich jetzt schon so... Warte mal. Ist die Tür zum neuen Content weg gewesen? War 4.16 nicht der neue Content? Steckt nicht den neuen Content von mir. Oh.
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Ich habe keine Ahnung. Das sind doch diese Backrooms.
This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not? All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Hier eine Taste zu drücken? Nee. Der New Content ist nicht wieder da. Also wir sind noch in demselben Adventure-Ding. Toll, jetzt sind da gar keine Türen.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Mich wohl veräppeln.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes.
Tut sie das?
No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Mich ein bisschen verarschen. Mein lieber Freund, wo führst du mich hin?
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct?
Ja.
Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win!
Danke.
Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some
Yeah.
people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations.
So sieht's aus.
Okay? I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart. All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable adventure line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Dann machen wir mal einfach alle Computer aus. Aber warum geht die Line denn jetzt hier lang? Hier ist doch auch schön. Okay, dann gehen wir mal die Line lang. Wir sind mal lieb. Richtig waren wir ja auch noch nicht.
You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there?
Ja.
Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience.
Alter, ich folge einfach der Linie, okay?
Right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa.
Denke ja.
That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the
Genau. Ich würde dir ja gern folgen, aber... Boah.
Cut the music, go back and look at that fern.
Was?
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Gut, dann mache ich mal einen Screenshot. Sicher ist sicher.
Wait,
Wo ist die Musik hin?
we're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is this ringing a bell?
Hey, das haben wir angefangen. Die Linie hat gar nichts gemacht. Gehen jetzt einfach irgendwo hin. Hä? Hä? Macht das Sinn? Moment. Kann mit dieser ganzen Freiheit nicht umgehen. Gehen wir jetzt einfach wieder auf Track.
Still missing the doors. Did we make a mistake following the line? Perhaps we could have found the story on our own.
Hey, ab in den Süden, der Linie hinterher. Ey, yo, was geht? Der Linie hinterher. Ey, yo, was geht?
Oh, no, not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? After we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Da ist die Line schon wieder. Können wir ihr vertrauen? Bild, das System ist das Problem, weil das System hat keine Eier. Ist das Telefon neu? Nee.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Okay.
Now,
Hier ist nichts.
yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Ich kann auch so lange im Kreis laufen, bis du auf dem Klo warst. Hey, ab in den Süden, dem Klo hinterher. Ich würde sagen, dann gehen wir beide aufs Klo und dann sind wir gleich wieder schnell da. Ist doch eine gute Idee. Dann gehe ich nämlich auch schnell aufs Klo. Dann ist der Alex auf dem Klo gewesen und ich auch. Runde Pause? Na gut. So, ich hoffe, ihr habt alle eure Hände gewaschen. Dann kann es nämlich weitergehen. Back, Hackback. Oh, ab in den Süden. Nein, das war die falsche Oberfläche. Hey, yo, was geht? Das war die falsche. Das ist immer noch die falsche Oberfläche. So. Achso, geht's gar nicht weiter. Sogar mit Seife und abgetrocknet. Uiuiui, nicht schlecht.
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Ja, aber, wir können es doch nicht einfach ignorieren. Weg ist er. Gut. Ach, Glück gehabt.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere
Ich werde nicht eine Minute im Kreis laufen.
there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Nein, ich laufe jetzt weiter im Kreis. Das macht mir nämlich Spaß. Ab im Kreis, den Pfeilen hinterher. Hey, yo, was geht? Den Pfeilen hinterher. Hey, yo, was geht? Es passiert nichts, oder? Na gut.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times?
Was? Ständig stirbt?
It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it.
Steht das da auch?
The timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait, you know. I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't it?
Nein, ist es nicht.
I'm not
Ja,
quite
doch,
sure
ja.
if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey.
Ach so,
and not
wir
the
wären hier.
destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
Sehr nice.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Aus mit dem Computer. Umsparen. Aha, da war der nächste Input received.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single...
Ah, da ist der New Content wieder.
Did it advance the story in any way?
Aber wir haben noch ein bisschen was zu tun.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. And here it was, the lounge. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Ja, machen wir.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to
Tips for not getting fired? Don't get fired.
hoping he might find an answer there.
So, hier unten waren wir schon.
To a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Was war das? 8247 oder so?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. His attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Ich glaube, es gibt... Lass mich mal was ausprobieren. 2845 war's, ne?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Could he really be all alone? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Überraschung. Das war wirklich immer noch mit dem 914.
The red mind control facility.
Oh.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death. As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Oh.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly. And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Ach, ist das Museumsende?
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Oh, Stanleys Computer. Dieser Plan zeigt das Büro vom Spielanfang. Der Weg von Stanleys Büro zu den beiden Türen war der erste Teil des Spiels, der gebaut wurde. Im Laufe der Entwicklung wurden Abschnitte hinzugefügt und verändert, aber der Kerngrundriss ist fast identisch zum ersten Durchlauf. Oh. Ah. Aktenschränke. Nice. Dann schauen wir mal in die Credits. So, der Red, Dominik Johann, Jan Strittmann. Oh, ja, ein paar bekannte Indie-Namen dabei. Basierend auf der Arbeit von der 2013er Version. Genau so sieht es nämlich aus. Ich weiß gar nicht mehr, ob man hier auch noch mal was machen konnte. Von hier aus. The Office. Überlege ich gerade, ob das hier das Ende war. Eine Auswahl an Geräuschen, die im gesamten Spiel beim Drücken von Knöpfen verwendet werden. Jedes Geräusch ist eine Mischung aus einem Tastaturanschlag und einem künstlichen Ton. Oh. Was haben wir denn hier noch Cooles? Screenshots von der Entwicklung des Chefbüros. Ah. Man konnte auch noch irgendwas mit diesen Buttons im Mind Control Room machen. Ich bin relativ sicher. Ah, der Wartungsraum. Oh, der Fotokopierer. Schön, 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 schön. Pflanzen. Das Action sollte erfindungsfähig werden und Krieg gegen Erzähler. Noch kurz nachdem. Außerdem wurde es von manchen so interpretiert, dass der Spieler sich über Leute lustig macht, die Ego-Shooter mögen, was nicht unsere Absicht war. Oh. Ah, sowas machen wir natürlich nicht. Ich mag die Idee von diesem, wie heißt's? Diesem Museum. Erzähler-E-Mails. Nach dem zweiten Trailer haben wir die Leute darum gebeten, dem Erzähler Fragen per E-Mail zu schicken. Ah, und hier sind ein paar Sachen da drin. How do you type with boxing gloves on? What do the lights in the control room do? I really want to know. Ich bin sicher, dass die Lights irgendwas getan haben. Einer früheren Version, die zum Apartmentende geführt hat, hat ein Timer einem 15 Sekunden Zeit gegeben, ans Telefon zu gehen. Daran kann ich mich nämlich auch noch erinnern. Tatsächlich. Aber jetzt können wir es nicht mehr auslösen. Irgendwas müssen wir doch von hier aus noch tun können. Das Z-Ending-Modell. Aha. Sehr schön, sehr schön. Gut. Countdown-Schreibtisch. Das Countdown-Ende, genau. Ich glaube nämlich tatsächlich, dass man das Countdown-Ende freischalten kann in diesem komischen Raum. Und hier ist ein Exit. So. Man kann tatsächlich hier noch mehr entdecken. Ich möchte jetzt noch nicht alles spoilern für Leute, die das vielleicht sogar noch selber spielen wollen.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Und damit wird man das mal starten.
Can you
Was?
see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
Schniff. Ich mag das Spiel. Hopp.
Hi, Stanley. Just wanted to leave you a message to let you know there's a few things I need you to pick up on your way home from work today. We need milk, cereal, dish soap, spaghetti, get a thing of sugar, some bread, and coffee beans, whichever ones you like. I'll give you a call if there's anything I forgot. Thanks, sweetie. See you tonight.
Okay. Hey, machen auch immer ihre Monitore nicht aus. Aber warum zur Hölle ruft sie bei 434 an? Das ist doch gar nicht unser Desk. Hat sie mit Stanley geredet oder mit jemand anders? Ja, wir sind doch 427. Nee, dann war das jemand anders. Und versuchen mal das Countdown-Ende zu kriegen und dann gucken wir mal in den New Content rein. Ich wollte heute auch nicht so ewig lange machen, weil ich muss morgen wieder früher aufstehen. Aber ein bisschen was von dem neuen Content müssen wir ja sehen.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might... Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad, Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Kill surprise.
Okay, ja, danke. Ich würde jetzt doch noch mal interessieren, er hat auch keinen Bock mehr, genau. Ich würde doch interessieren, weil wenn man den Aufzug ja wieder hochfährt, sieht man ja noch mal so eine Plattform, ob man da irgendwie hinkommt.
Whoops. Nope. Never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't...
Da. Will das nicht doch zeigen, dass er sich erinnert? Ich glaube, so in der Beta-Ebene, man weiß es ja nicht genau, ne? Weil irgendwie soll das ja wohl auch die, Link plus, okay. Irgendwie soll das ja auch der Programmierer sein oder was auch immer.
It's still just exactly what it is.
Ja.
The decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have, an incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow.
Ja, wenn du mich einfach mal aufs Klo, das Dingsklo hier lassen würdest, das Executive-Klo.
Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this?
Ich finde ganz ehrlich, der muss sich nicht wundern, dass wir ihn auch ab und zu zurückquälen. Wer austeilt, muss auch einstecken können.
Stanley will walk forward into the spooky corridor, won't he? Stanley walks straight ahead through the locked
914.
mind control facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself.
Irgendwas kommt man auch hiermit noch machen.
To find out.
Er hatte ja schöne Erinnerungen. Wenn er sich daran erinnert, weil dass du da warst, dann wäre es doch auch so, dass er weiß, was war. Ja, irgendwie schon, ne?
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Ja. Jemand kann es nicht nochmal drücken.
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? No.
Oh no!
It was unthinkable.
Unthinkable, natürlich.
Possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Preposterous.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
2. Wo war denn 3? Was ist 5? 3 hat man doch auch, oder? Eins, 2. Ich hatte 3 doch schon gefunden. Wo bist du 3? Da. 3. Ich denke mal, da oben wird 4 sein, aber da kommen wir nicht hin. Weil das hier gesperrt ist. Was können wir hier machen?
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments, each one of them.
Wie funktioniert der Code?
Time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone.
Oh, jetzt. Das Hint.
Sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try and make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow.
Was muss ich denn machen?
Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones, or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me.
Ja.
Think that, Stanley, that this video game can be beaten?
Ja.
Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless.
Man kann doch irgendwas machen, da bin ich relativ sicher.
This is not a challenge.
Die Musik ist gut.
You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever up.
Puh. Ich weiß leider auch nicht mehr, ob man das irgendwie wirklich schaffen kann. Ich denke mal, es gibt irgendeine Möglichkeit, das zu schaffen. Okay, jetzt gucken wir aber uns nochmal den neuen Content an. Jetzt haben wir einige der Sachen uns angeguckt, die es schon gab.
Tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing?
Na, ich weiß ja nicht. So ein bisschen was von den neuen Sachen müssen wir uns ja auch angucken.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
Oh. Jetzt bin ich mal gespannt, was es da gibt. Scary.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
Okay. Da bin ich jetzt sehr gespannt.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure. Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
Ah, endlich der neue Content. Here comes some content.
The initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if them... Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
Here comes the content.
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Können tatsächlich springen? Hier nicht? Krass, gibt's einen Doppelsprung? Ja, fast.
Is that it?
Tschüss, Phil.
Surely that's not all the new content.
Danke fürs
There has to
Zugucken.
be something else, right?
Ich habe genug Spaß mit dem Jump Circle. Mir würde das schon komplett reichen. Ja, wir haben das Budget für Sprünge fast aufgebraucht. Ah, sollen wir den letzten Sprung wirklich genießen? Sollen wir uns den aufbewahren oder? Komm, alles muss raus. Oh. Schade. Ich liebe, dass es hier in so einem riesigen, weiten Raum ist. So schnell ein bisschen abgegrenzt mit ein bisschen Cardboard oder was das sein soll. Das ist sieht ein bisschen aus wie eine... Was ist das für eine Gitterstruktur? Das könnte irgendeine Verstärkung sein, oder? Eine Platte? Tennisplatte? Hm.
goodness. Another elevator.
Irgendwann muss doch laden.
Initial impressions of this game are not positive.
Was?
It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh wait, there's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
Ein Sofa. So, wir warten erstmal ein bisschen. Dam, ba, ba, bam, 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 ba, bam, bam. Das ist auch gar nicht unheimlich, wenn man sowas in seinem Office hat.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations.
Ja, aber ich fand das
We just
toll.
reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together.
Guck mal, man kann sich hier drunter stellen. Das ist voll
What do you
gut.
say, friend?
Was ist denn hier los? Neue Ausstattung, neue Beleuchtung, alles neu? Natürlich noch ein Bild von dem alten Office. Nur zur Komplettierung. I hate Mondays. Aber ich glaube in der höher aufgelösten Textur. I hate high-res Mondays.
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent! I want to show you something!
Alter! Du Creep, ich gehe nicht in dein Vent rein. I like work, I just hate my boss. Die rauchen im Büro?
Oh, you don't want to see the cool surprise I made for you? Well, fine. You're a dork anyway, so who cares?
Oh. Ja, ich bin ja schon im neuen Content, oder?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Ich bin verwirrt.
It was okay.
Was? It was okay? Was? Wie? Es war nur okay.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Mal gucken, ob die Enden, die hier sind, jetzt die gleichen sind. Weil ich bin ja praktisch schon im neuen Content.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why? I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look,
Geht ein Vent durch.
let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Wir gucken, ob sich hier was ändert.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
What?
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Ach so, die Red Door.
Thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I want it to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just...
Ich glaube, ich bin wieder auf dem Pfad der alten Story.
I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you. What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful.
Nope.
If we just stay right here... No, wait. Where are you going?
Okay, ich glaube, hier wird sich nicht nochmal was ändern.
Stay away from those stairs.
Okay. Dann probieren wir mal den New Content.
Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something. Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
Ooh. Wow, nice. Eine Bürokathedrale? Das ist schön. Cool. Oh.
I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
Hübsch. The Memory Zone. Was haben wir denn hier? Telefon, okay. Ach, 2013.
Doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013 when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
Ehrlich gesagt hätte es mich auch gar nicht geärgert, wenn ich einfach nochmal das gleiche Spiel gespielt hätte. Ach, 2013, als die Welt noch in Ordnung war. Ach, die originale Steam-Seite. Ach, irgendwelche Screenshots. Damals. Diverse Zeitschriften, die dort herumlagen. Okay. Ah. Was ist da eigentlich? Awarded to the Last of Us. War eben schnell The Last of Us durchgestrichen und Stanley Parable draufgeklebt. Schön. Schön, schön. Ah. Das originale Remake, genau. Six components of a great corporate culture. Smile, because it happened. Der Umsatz, den wir gemacht haben, einen ganzen $1. Die Demo, kann ich die hier spielen? Nein. So ist die Demo vor einem riesigen Fernseher. Das Unachievable Achievement. Ach, so viele schöne Sachen. Mhm. Mhm. Ist nicht alles das Gleiche? New video game releasing today. Was steht da noch alles? Das Wetter. All the news that's fit to print. So New York Times. Ach, wir gestorben sind. Ach, good old times. Oh, der Hamster.
Seul sur l'abri des loups, et je n'attends plus que toi, mon amour.
Kann hier zwar gucken, aber.
C'est là, dans la mémorisation, où je me remémore les jours.
Okay.
Je t'ai rencontré.
Oh. Das ist ja ein toller Raum.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all.
Was?
It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Oh. Ich hätte mir die Musik komplett anhören sollen. Soll ich da runter oder? Moment. Bleiben mal oben. First of the Year, ein Typ. Ah, das ist, glaube ich, der Half-Life Level Editor.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
I see your meta commentary. Repeatable carpet textures. Dom's famous repeatable carpet textures, ehrlich. Ich da nicht hin in den Serious Room?
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here?
Okay. What's going on here?
Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Jetzt bin ich mal gespannt. Das sind wahrscheinlich die schlimmsten Steam-Reviews überhaupt. Scary.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Oh, das ist aber ganz schön dark hier. Ich mochte halt auch diesen Effekt, wie das auf einen zufällt. Diesen Durchgang freigibt. Das ist extrem cool. Sieht doch einem very bad place aus. Das Logo ist so cool, Steam Reviews.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley, I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me.
Nudelscharf, das war ein deutscher User.
Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Dear, what an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
Oh. Na gut, aber es ist ja tatsächlich so. Man hat mit den schlechten Reviews am längsten Spaß. Ein Preis ist schnell vergessen, aber dieses böse Steam-Review. Ich weiß gar nicht, ob ich hier sein möchte. Kann ich zurück ins Office?
What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button.
Aber 10 Stunden gespielt.
Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
Ich traue dem Skip-Button nicht.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm...
Nein, das machen wir nicht.
No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No.
Nein.
The Stanley Parable is a game for the people. And if the people want silence, then by goodness, that's what they're going to get.
Right.
Oh, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue, and it goes something like this. The story, and the choices, or what have you, and therefore, by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably, we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once...
Ist das eine Matrix-Anspielung?
We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet. No, until 245. That the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime.
Was?
It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago? Which is why I say...
Hallo, das war...
And the choices, or what have you, and
Wir hören uns gerade einen unendlich langen Dialog an. Monolog.
Inevitably, we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once. So now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet. No, until 200.
Loopt das jetzt einfach?
That the logic of elimination.
Ich glaube, es loopt einfach tatsächlich.
Therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000. Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations.
Hast du schon die neue Edition gespielt?
Of course. I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of it, but if I had to describe it, well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? Power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. Oh, I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their Steam review.
Nein, werden sie nicht.
Some of the wording, perhaps. To be honest, I don't even know if one can change their review in the first place. I guess I should become better educated on exactly how Steam works. Perhaps that would have been the smart thing to check on before I went about this whole exercise of making the skip button. Although I have to imagine that after seeing this exciting new technology at work, surely whoever it is runs Steam will instantly run out and implement a new feature to make it possible to edit one's review, merely because of this very situation. Yes, I think that's quite likely. Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe...
30-45 Minuten?
It's not unendurable,
Oh.
but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about.
Nein, du kannst unendlich lange dich voll ramblen, Narrator.
I suggest that we not press the button again. I think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated, and we can say goodbye to it and just... Wait. How do we get out of here? Where did the door go? Wasn't there a door that led into this room?
Oh,
I do feel quite certain that there
also mein Tag war übrigens gut. Es ist eine mega stressige Woche. Deswegen, ich wollte eigentlich auch schon aufhören, aber jetzt habe ich ja immer den neuen Content von The Stanley Parable aufgerufen. Und da der Narrator ja eh nur Blödsinn erzählt, kann ich hier auch ihn einfach überlabern.
Step away from the skip button to go anywhere other than the skip button. There was a door here before, wasn't there?
Nein, hier ist keine Door. Ich komme nur mit dem Skip-Button weiter. Wie war denn dein Tag, Kaspar?
Just ram your way through a wall? Is there any possibility that you could, say, slam your body into the wall until enough damage is done for you to be able to leave? Please.
Sorry, Mann.
Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just...
Hier ist aber nichts.
I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone. I've looked at it from every angle. I've checked every
da drüben?
walls 1,000 times, and there's no door, Stanley. There's no door. There's just you.
Da ist doch sicherlich eine Door.
If you keep pressing it, I have no idea what will happen. I have no idea.
Hier muss eine Door sein.
Here. And more than anything else, I don't know how to stop you from pressing the button again. I can't control anything in this room, Stanley. I can't touch it. And I have to believe, I have to know that sooner or later, no matter how much I plead with you, you're going to press the button again. Why would you? I've been thinking and I... Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness.
Oh.
I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks? I've been sitting here all that time, just sitting here, not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking, and you say...
Ja, das stimmt.
Do you think that it's exactly the same as always? Doesn't that feel like what we've already been doing? Me just talking? But it isn't so.
Also ich glaube tatsächlich, würde ich das Spiel jetzt nicht streamen, würde ich es eine Zeit lang einfach stehen lassen.
I know you can't hear me once you push that button. That's what I'm realizing now, Stanley. I'm realizing that I needed to know that someone was listening. I needed there to be a vessel through which my words were moving. It was the vessel I needed, Stanley. Not the outcomes, not the story. None of that matters anymore. I'll give it all up.
Also rein theoretisch war es ja auch seit der ersten Version von Stanley Parable 9 Jahre, 8 Jahre, 9 Jahre.
The thing I need, and God, I can see now that I need it more than anything, is to know that someone else is taking it in.
Sorry, mein Freund, aber das kann ich den Leuten nicht mehr antun.
Maybe, Stanley, maybe, if you can hear. Oh, hello, it's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time. I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret.
Wie war das denn noch mit diesem, war nicht per Anhalter durch die Galaxis, gab es da nicht diesen Roboter, den sie irgendwo 1 Million Jahre stehen lassen?
And when that feeling had begun to subside, what took its place is what I can only describe as the collapse of every moment I have ever experienced my entire life. All of them collapsed down into a single instant. In that instant, I could see myself clearly, calmly, with a collected heart. It was an impossibly rich wellspring of both delight and disgust simultaneously.
Genau.
I was consumed.
Hieß doch Marvin, oder? Der Roboter?
But wallow in it for what felt like an eternity, for what I now know was far less. You see, it was a revelation for
Ja, dann komm auf den Punkt.
like anything I had ever known. It was a space without consequence, without action or outcome. It was divorced entirely from the question of free will that you and I have squabbled over for so long. There could be no one ending, no singular outcome of events, not if all events exist.
Er mag ja keine Maschinen, welche sich anbieten mit diesen elektronischen Türen. Ja, genau. Tja. Ich glaube, der Erzähler ist inzwischen verstorben, oder? Wahrscheinlich passiert jetzt auch nichts mehr, wenn ich auf den Skip-Button drücke, oder? Brennt's? Oder piept er, weil die Batterie alle ist? Das ist übrigens gerade echt dystopisch. Oder albtraumhaft. Unser neuer Kopierer hält sein Display, wenn man nah genug kommt. Deswegen ist die Maschine mir suspekt. Wir haben auf der Arbeit ein Surface Hub. Ich weiß nicht, ob du das kennst. Das ist so ein Videoconferencing-System von Microsoft. Und wenn du den Raum betrittst, ist das tatsächlich so, dass auch das Display angeht. Weil die Kamera halt erkennt, dass jemand im Raum ist. Das ist auch ein bisschen scary. Okay.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the inconsistency, it's the lack of accountability. It's the unwillingness to examine with an uncompromising...
Alles gut, Narrator? Are you okay? Oder sind das Phasen, wo der Narrator schläft? Blub? Also tatsächlich, ich muss sagen, ich wäre wahrscheinlich bei diesem Abschnitt früher ein bisschen mehr ausgefreakt, weil das einige der Sachen ist, die ich halt irgendwie so in Träumen und sowas gar nicht haben kann. Irgendwelche abgeschlossenen kleinen Labyrinthe, aus denen man gar nicht rauskommt. Nee, also eigentlich ist das halt hier Metanarrativ, nachdem der Narrator herausgefunden hat, dass manche Leute sagen, dass er zu lange geredet hat, hat er halt einen Skip-Button in das Spiel eingebaut und jetzt ist das alles außer Kontrolle geraten. Also eigentlich skippen wir nur seine Sachen, aber halt, wer weiß, wie viele Wochen, wie viele Jahre wir inzwischen vorgeskippt haben.
The end is never the end, 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 is never the end.
Ich habe ihn gerade beim Loop erwischt.
Is never the end, 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 is never the end.
Ich glaube, da war gerade der Loop.
Is never the end, is never the end, is never the end.
Narrator? Alles in Ordnung? Oh Gott, das ist so creepy. Das ist so mega creepy. Hallo, lieber Narrator. Weil was ich so schön finde, ist, dass sie halt total mini... Darf ich dir eine Frage stellen, die mich schon mehrere Tage beschäftigt? Ich sage immer, du darfst immer alle Fragen stellen, darfst nur nicht mit einer Antwort rechnen. Nein, war nur ein Scherz, darfst gerne die Frage stellen. Wenn ich nicht antworten möchte, werde ich es einfach sein lassen. Oh, da hat sich was getan. Sind da durchgebrochen? Das war jetzt einfach ein Wassereinbruch? Das sieht halt aus, als hätte sich das Wasser da einfach durchgetropft, oder? Verrückte Kiste. Das ist schön von der Lichtstimmung. Das Fiese ist, dass ich irgendwie das Stanley Parable mental immer jetzt so ein bisschen mit Portal vergleiche. Ob sowas auch in Portal funktionieren würde. Und halt mit dieser Geschichte, dass ja praktisch dass Shell ja praktisch halt zwischendurch wieder in den Tiefschlaf gegangen ist. Das würde halt auch mega so funktionieren. Wenn man halt diesen Skip-Button so interpretiert, als wäre es eine Kryokapsel. Stellt mich der Klasper aber auch auf die, jetzt spannt er mich auf die Folter, wenn er sagt, er hat eine ganz wichtige Frage. Und jetzt stellt er die einfach nicht. Auch eine krasse Geschichte. Ah, es ist ja cool. Was bedeutet das denn jetzt? Ne? Das ist ja praktisch, wir sind ja in seinem Memory-Raum, in seinem Gedächtnispalast, dass da jetzt die Natur durchgebrochen ist. Jetzt wird's wieder dark. Das hat auch ein bisschen was von, ich weiß nicht, ob ihr mal eine der Verfilmungen der Zeitmaschine gesehen habt, also von Orson Welles. Das ist ja auch meistens so, dass die irgendwie statisch sind und immer an irgendwelchen Punkten in der Zeit anhalten, wo sich die Umgebung dann verändert hat. Das hat auch ein bisschen was davon. Es ist jetzt ja praktisch wie eine Zeitreise in die Zukunft. Mal gucken. Wöchentlich streamt auf Reddit ein Mädel mit einer Ukulele. In ihrer Info steht Little Mentally Ill Girl. Auch gibt es eine andere Streamerin, welche sich getaggt hat mit chronische Krankheit, also chronische Migräne. Warum macht man das? Ist die Krankheit etwas, was einen definiert? Darf man auch fragen, welche mentale Krankheit die Person hat? Ich kann jetzt natürlich nicht für andere Personen sprechen. Also halt, ich kenne die Streamer halt auch nicht. Manchmal ist es halt so, viele Leute, die, ich setze jetzt mal einfach seelisch vorbelastet sind, sind eventuell gewohnt, dass sie diesen Teil ihrer Identität oder diesen Teil ihres, wie man es auch immer nennt, ihres persönlichen Aufbaus verstecken müssen. Und deswegen haben sie diesen einen kleinen Safe Space, den sie selbst gestalten, wo sie das nach vorne bringen. Weil jemand zu fragen, was jemand hat, es hatte, bin ich zwiegespalten. Bin ich echt zwiegespalten. Weil mal vielleicht, wenn diese Person irgendwie eine FAQ hat oder so. Es ist halt immer so eine Frage, wenn jemand das wirklich in seine Bio reinschreibt, ne? Wirklich, Little Mentally Ill Girl. Genau, wie zum Beispiel der Alex schreibt, der redet offen über seine Depressionen. Also, ich würde auch, sagen wir so, es ist auch halt so eine... Wenn ich das jetzt einfach auf mich beziehen würde, wann würde ich das machen? Wieso würde ich das machen? Ich glaube, ich würde das in einer Phase machen, wo es für mich noch relativ neu ist, damit nach außen zu gehen, wo es halt auch wichtig ist, dass Leute das halt einfach wissen. So, ne? Also ich bin jetzt einfach so, ihr solltet das halt wissen und das ist jetzt so, ich verstecke das nicht, ich verbiege mich nicht für euch. Das ist halt einfach ein Teil von dem, was ich bin. Aber halt wirklich ohne, ich kann jetzt halt nur von mir ausgehen auf andere. Und ich meine, passt ja sogar einigermaßen, weil es ist ja halt auch ist ja auch ein Spiel, wo es so um Identität, Persönlichkeit geht und wie man sich durch seine Kunst ausdrückt. Ich würde tatsächlich sagen, dass es dieser Person schon wichtig ist zu sagen, ich bin halt einfach so, das ist halt nun mal Teil von mir. Ich habe halt da nun mal halt Herausforderungen im Alltag oder was auch immer. Und ja, aber halt jetzt zu fragen. Also tatsächlich würde denken, dass diese Person das vielleicht in irgendeiner FAQ stehen hat. Also dass man so gar nicht so persönlich innerhalb des Streams fragen muss. Und dann, ich würde einfach gucken, wann eine passende Zeit dafür ist. Also wenn diese Person sowieso gerade drüber redet oder es so aussieht, als wäre sie darüber offen, warum nicht? Aber halt jetzt zum Beispiel während irgendeines Spielestreams zu fragen, weiß ich nicht, ob das der Kontext dafür ist. Aber vielleicht guckst du einfach mal auf der Stream-Seite, ob sich das nicht sowieso aus ihren FAQs ergibt. Punkt. So, jetzt gucken wir aber erstmal, was hier los ist. Weil ich finde das hier gerade mega scary, was hier in der Nacht herumfleucht. Wow. Aha. Die Zeit hat unseren Käfig zerstört. Ich denke erstmal schön im Dutch Angle alles. Ne, könnte ich nochmal drücken. Oh, also wo wir schon von Parallelwelten reden, ist das die Parallelwelt aus Dark, die den Hitzetod gestorben ist? Ich meine, I slept too long, no. Ja, vor allem, es ist ja gar nicht so Schlaf, sag ich mal. Es soll ja sein, wir sind ja immer noch in seinem Gedankenpalast, oder? Nee, alles gut, Jasper. Wäre es jetzt total unpassend gewesen, wäre ich halt auch nicht drauf eingegangen. Also, und jetzt sind wir einfach wieder zurück. Moment. Resettet sich das einfach so?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Die Pflanze vorhin hier schon. Ist jetzt die Frage, ob man wieder in den New Content reinkommt oder ob sich irgendwas geändert hat. Es wird jetzt natürlich für eine eigene kleine Seitengeschichte ausreichen. Ist halt schwer zu sagen. Oh. Dezent. Ich frage mich wohl, ob es noch mehr neuen Content gibt. Fuck, ich wollte eigentlich schon ins Bett. Aber egal, das ziehen wir jetzt durch.
Oh, good. You notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Was schreibt der Kraft? Ich mag wirklich deine Ansichten. Es wirkt so, als ob du dich schon mit unterschiedlichen Dingen befasst hast. Ja, das ist gut. Ich bin halt schon Anfang 40. Ich hatte genug Zeit und auch Notwendigkeit, mich damit zu befassen. Also halt auch mit so Themen wie Depression, Selbstverletzung, solchen Quatsch. Posttraumatischer Belastungsstörungsgedöns und was hast du nicht gesehen? Ich hatte passende Gelegenheit dazu in meinem Leben.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and all new content for it should live up to that legacy.
Er hat selber was gebaut, der Narrator.
Ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further.
Ja?
Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley Parable 2.
Oh. Whoa!
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
Aber wieso 427? Ja, ich will da hin. I want to see all of this. Oh, geile IMAX, nicht schlecht. Was testing two printers at the same time? What? Ah, geil. Ah. Ach, wir sind bei einem Investor-Showcase. Ah, das Spiel gibt's doch gar nicht.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2.
Geil.
Now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Ist auch cool, dass wir. Ich meine, das ist halt schon optisch super aufgenommen, ne? Dass du den Teppich hast und diese Adventure-Linie, die eine 2 macht. Und hier einfach in verschiedenen Sprachen die 2 immer. Das ist schon nicht schlecht. Und hier guck mal, ne? RTX On, Ultra Deluxe, Shiny. Nice, nice. Of Painting K.tga, okay. So, die sind von der anderen Seite des Raums, ne? Wieso Of Painting D.tga? Mich hier irgendwie hin? Ah, so sleekes neues Design. Nice. There is a 2 doors, they are back. Ah, boring section of the chart. Cool red section. Yeah, old and busted. New hotness. Geil. Na. Das ist ja eigentlich fast schade, dass ich euch so lange jetzt aufgehalten habe mit dem schon existierenden Stanley Parable. Und jetzt kommen wir erstmal zu dem neuen heißen Scheiß. More TSP, besser TSP, Win. Color Red. Okay, das wird jetzt sehr meta. Nummer 6, thanks for attending my meeting. Sehr geil, das Pseudo-PowerPoint. Ach, herrje. Ganzen Logo-Ideen, sehr cute.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Who took the red marker? Me. Wieso 427? Ist das war das ein bestimmter Raum? 427 oder 417? Der wichtig war? Zwei. It's way to the second floor. Dann muss man da irgendwo abweichen können, oder? Das war sein. War 417, war das ein Raum? Hatte er nicht eine Dreiernummer? Eine Zweiernummer sogar? Ich weiß es nicht mehr. Verdammt. Oh, sexy. Das erinnert mich wirklich an irgendwelche abgefahrenen Gamescom-Präsentationen. Vielleicht kannst du mal einer schnell googeln, was seine Raumnummer war. Aber ich hätte gedacht, das wären welche mit 3 gewesen. Warum ist denn hier alles abgetrennt? 427. Ja, es hat ein bisschen was von 24/7. Oh.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Jetzt. Oh. Wichtig ist erstmal, dass der Merch steht. Das ist das Wichtigste. Wobei ich den Spruch schon gut finde. The end is never the end again. Bürodekoration, The Stanley Parable Beruhigungseimer, der Knopf, der den Namen des Spielers nennt, der das Spiel spielt. Dann gucken wir uns erstmal das an. Enjoy your name in the game. Red is the new orange. Raum 999. The baby is grown up. Oh Gott, geil. Raytracing. Natürlich hat's Raytracing. Sweet Shaders. Ach, geilo. Name. Everybody's got one. Here yours today. Okay, bevor wir uns irgendwie in die Backrooms begeben, schauen wir doch mal.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized
Individually.
as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Funktioniert er überhaupt nach so viel Gehype? Say my name, say my name. Heisenzerg. Na, sagt der Mann meinen Steam-Namen? Ist das Studio Special Place wahrscheinlich, ne?
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim.
Ich hab's ja erwartet, dass es nicht klappt.
Living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim watching your dreams crumble into dust. Do you feel it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim right now? If so, then please step forward and press the button.
Jim.
Yes, you see? What a thrill, what a rush. That was you. The button described you. Do it again, do it again.
Jim.
Ooh, it hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal value.
Jim.
Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much Jim. I'm putting the Jim button away. Otherwise, soon you'll start to lose all sense of who you actually are.
Jim.
Hey, Mann. Stell dir vor, du hast wirklich Jim, ja. Es musste sowas in der Richtung sein. Also entweder irgendeine Sprachsynthese oder halt entweder der Knopf funktioniert gar nicht. Oh, herrlich. Was haben wir denn noch für geile neue Features? Oh, mit diesem Mega-Raum. Der kleinste Scheiß.
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
Da gucken wir uns gleich mal an. So, keine Screenshots. Okay. Ist das die Frau, die ihn vor Boden aufklaubt? Ja, ne? Wahrscheinlich schon. Jump Circle. Oh, wo ist das Free Achievement? Ich will das Free Achievement haben. Das. Hier. Das ist das Allerwichtigste. Das funktioniert doch nicht.
Here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that. Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Ja. Wahrscheinlich, wenn man 3 Millionen Mal dahin klickt, dann wird das freigeschaltet. Immerhin wurde ich nicht gerickrollt.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Collectibles?
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Gut, dass man einfach nicht zurückgehen kann. Jetzt. Ist das fies, diese erhabene Szene. Oh, dann. Wunderbar.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Was haben wir denn noch?
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
Get well someday.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along.
Die andere, oder?
Happy 12th
Ja.
birthday, step-niece, it is.
Es ist immer das andere. Es ist immer das andere.
Maybe I should have gone with... No. No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
Okay.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and
Wo ist der Bucket?
fill your mind and your heart. It's true.
Ah,
As you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be?
ich liebe das.
The bucket is the
So schöne brutalistische Architektur.
Give it a try.
Das erinnert mich ein bisschen an Control. Was eine sehr gute Sache ist.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact,
Sorry.
can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Dann tschüss. Hab jetzt die ganze Zeit diesen verdammten Eimer dabei.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
The butt that says Jim. Ehrlich jetzt? Ah, hier haben sie es aber nicht geändert. Und der Button ist aber noch weg. Okay. Oh Mann. Wie werde ich den überhaupt wieder los? brauche hier dieses random, wie heißt Messe-Equipment. Hä? Kann sich den Epilog hier angucken?
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Dieser Eimer geht mir ein bisschen auf den Sack schon. In Einstellungen Weltmeister? Button da wieder den Bucket wieder hin tun. Du meinst, die Kinder gehen halt mit dem Eimer zum Sportunterricht und so und haben ihre Sachen in Eimern. Da ist dann auch ihr Pausenbrot drin und alles Mögliche. Das kann ich mir sehr gut vorstellen. Ich habe den jetzt wirklich die ganze Zeit in der Hand, oder? Ah, okay. So, Rohdekoration haben wir gemacht. Ein endliches Loch. Haben wir uns das unendliche Loch angeguckt? Alles im Eimer. Mhm. Infinite Hole. Hole, Science, more Hole. Alle Simheimer.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is in fact a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
Was ist das für ein Geräusch? Ja, aber ehrlich gesagt, erstmal stimmt das nicht. Weil man kann den Portal super einfach ein unendliches Loch bauen und mal gucken. Sicher 10 Meter nur.
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top and we can continue onward.
Funktioniert der schon?
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
Das Hole ist nicht unendlich.
Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person
New Mark.
fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready. Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel.
Ach, ehrlich. So ein bisschen verdächtig, dass man noch so wenig vom Pfad abweichen kann. Aber die Ideen sind schon mal mega geil. Der Jump Circle.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first Oh, well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece then.
No, schade. Ich mag dieses Artwork ja total, ne? Auch wenn es natürlich an sich sinnentleert ist. Mega gut. So, Buttons haben wir schon gemacht. Setting World Champion. Setting World Champion. Haben wir das schon gemacht? Moment. Sammelobjekte, Ausgang, Sprungkreis. Das Loch war... Ah, ich habe noch ein tieferes Loch erwartet. Ha, jetzt steht es ja. Größtenteils unendliches Loch. Gratis Erfolg. Meine Leute. Der Eimer, Dekoration. Wo zur Hölle kommen wir zu den Settings? Ich stand da schon mal vor. Ah, da müsste es sein. Da müsste es sein. Okay. Gut, dann gucken wir uns mal den Exit an, oder? Ich muss doch echt so langsam ins Bett. Das ist so faszinierend. Wird die Aufzüge nutzen? Nein. Das Schöne ist, es sieht halt einfach auch direkt aus wie halt irgendeine krasse Convention Hall. Da ist gleich gar kein Vertonen. So, ich glaube, der Exit war da hinten, ja. Also selbst wenn noch was kommt, ich werde zumindest mal den Exit gucken. Und dann... So geile Artworks.
All right. Have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
Ja. Und wir müssen uns ja auch nicht alles von vorne bis hinten angucken. Dann bleibt doch ein bisschen was für euch über. Warum werden diese Kisten immer größer?
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work.
Also mit dem Eimer auf jeden Fall.
Game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay, are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2. Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on, let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good.
Kommt genau das gleiche mal raus.
Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it, no matter how good these games
Spielen wir jetzt gerade so Beginners Guide, oder?
They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it.
Wie in einer Ultra Deluxe Edition?
With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a
Stimmt, das ist 427, ja.
tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, this is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Das sieht jetzt echt nach einem Crossover aus Stanley Parable und Control aus. Und es sieht mega nice aus. Vielleicht nehmen wir sogar den Punkt, um einfach mal für heute Schluss zu machen. Weil ich muss ja das Stanley Parable 2 nicht im Stream durchspielen. Das ist ja halt auch tatsächlich die Art von Spiel. Wir haben noch nicht mal alle Enden des Hauptspiels gesehen. Und wir werden ganz sicherlich auch noch nicht alle Enden der Ultra Deluxe Edition